Hello, and welcome back to the Resilient Leader's Journey, a podcast where we navigate challenging currents of growth and change. My guest today, she's right there, is my favorite friend, Gail Alofson. Gail's a national keynote speaker, workshop leader, author, adjunct professor, career coach, radio show host, business development executive. Oh my gosh, she also works at the University of Rhode Island. Good morning, Gail. How are you?
I love your smile. I love your smile.
Thank
You
you
just,
so
but you
much.
made me smile. You're so happy, and it's who you really are. That's what I love about you. From the minute we met years and years ago, what you see is what you get. It's very authentic with you, Trent.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Gail, I listed probably 14 jobs. I think you have at least 32 more. Is that right?
I'm writing an article this month for two different magazines called Busy is Not a Contest because we wear busy like it's a badge of honor. I choose my busy. It works
There you
well.
go. How wonderful.
It
You
all
choose your busy.
intersects.
So, how do you decide between what's important to work on and what you can put aside and what do you ignore?
I'm not afraid to say no anymore. And that's something that I was afraid of years ago. I was afraid to say no. They're not going to like me. They're going to think I'm arrogant that I'm saying no. And now I've learned, and I have a whole chapter in my book about it called Saying No Nicely. Not saying no with this dissertation of how busy you are, because nobody cares. They
That's
don't
right.
care. So I choose carefully, but I also choose with my heart. So that's, and then I choose if it's a special friend asking and saying, you need to do this. And then I'm like, okay.
Tim Cook was recently interviewed. He's the CEO of Apple and talking about what keeps that company focused. And one of the things that he said was, we say no a lot. We say no to great ideas a lot. And his rationale is we say no to $1 billion idea because we think we can find a $10 billion idea. It's easy to say yes to everything and then you get a little bit of nothing.
I'd be happy to saying no to a $1 million deal to get a $5 million deal. But
Yeah,
it's
slightly different
brilliant.
scale in billions. That's what they think in terms of billions. You and I think in terms of bananas, which is a
Yes, yes,
code word at the National Speakers Association for money. We can't talk about money. We talk about bananas.
absolutely.
Gail, one of the things I'm amazed about you, or I want my listeners to learn, is how you talk to your students, how do you talk to developing leaders about collecting people. Can you talk to us
Oh my
what that
gosh.
means and how you apply it?
You need to collect and curate carefully because the goal of collecting is connecting for me. I'm on my back nine in golf. So I think I'm really on my back three, but I'm going to fib about my age. Seriously.
At the clubhouse waiting for you, Gail.
At this point in my life, it's about collecting people into my life that are going to be able to help the students or other young executives or other people who I come along. How can they be a resource for those people? That is it. No, yes, I'm at Office of Strategic Initiatives. Love it here. Love URI. Love it. And I'm collecting people for our training and development programs that I'm responsible for doing business development for. So I'm collecting right now with that goal of connecting organically. When I say curate, I'm not one of those people who is going to have tens of thousands of people on my LinkedIn. In fact, one of my dear friends says, Gail, you keep people in LinkedIn purgatory. So that seems, I know it seems so cruel, but it's not that. I keep them in and I'll look back again. But how do I know you? Are you trying to sell me something? You know, those things we always get, especially as speakers. They're going to make us $1 million speakers. Just work with them. And it's just, I want to really know the people that I welcome into my world instead of yes, 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 yes. And I do teach that to the students. Be careful. Just be careful out there.
Right. It seems like you can get 20 LinkedIn connections invites a day, and zero could be meaningful. And not because you want to be a mean person, but there's a difference between collecting people and curating people. That's a great and fascinating topic. And so over these years, do you prioritize the people that you've collected and curate? Do some bubble to the top, you lean on them more? How does that work for you?
I want to help people at this point, and I know you do too, because when we've entered rooms together, and this isn't Gail, oh, you're the big guru, you're helping someone. But I walk into a room, what can I contribute? And Inform the students too, or I should say advise them. Do the same thing when you go to networking events. Because when you walk in, I give them the questions they should ask. I have them take a picture, keep it on your phone. So before you walk into that room, photocopy people's business cards if you collect. If everyone's bumping instead of a business card, still make one and pull it out yourself. Because I love to play VH1, Where Are They Now, with business cards. See, people won't know what VH1, Where Are They Now is, but it goes back to Donny
Actually, they
Osmond
used to have
and David
music
Cassidy.
on that shit.
Yeah. But that is what I think is important at this point is when you walk into a room, is there somebody that I can be of value to today versus, hey, I'm Gail. I sell training and development. I'm a speaker. I'm a professor. I'd rather say, hey, I'm Gail. Would you love to come to our University of Rhode Island classroom or Salve Regina classroom and mentor the next generation of leaders? And how can they help you? How can we do focus groups for corporations? How can we be an asset for these corporations? And that's what I advise the students. Go into a room. How can you help? Are you great at graphic design? Are you really navigating AI to a point where you could help a company with this? So, although you know this, I'll say this one, you know I love my students, but this generation does know everything. Oh, I said it out loud. It's taped.
Wait a minute.
You got it out
Are
of
you
me.
telling me that when you were 20 years old, you didn't know everything?
I knew everything and my parents knew nothing. Probably till I was about 25. And isn't that when your brain matures at 25?
Well, you've been kicked in the head enough, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So, Gail, you talk about helping. I know you are quite passionate about the volunteer work that you've done. You started volunteering in nonprofits at the age of 7, and at the age of 19, you were volunteering for the Haitian Health Foundation. Maybe you can tell me what you were doing at 7 years old for the community.
At 7 years old, I went to St. Joseph's Catholic School. And we had to go door to door selling these religious icons, which was very difficult to do because not everybody wanted to buy little statues or little prayer books. But it was still a wonderful thing to do. And then my mom put me into the Girl Scouts, not the brownies, but the Girl Scouts. It changed my whole life. Selling Girl Scout cookies, selling Girl Scout cookies, check. You know, who doesn't want a Girl Scout cookie? And we had to wear our uniforms. I should say we got to wear our uniforms. We wore our uniforms. We went to the door, and 2 people on the whole street, we walked door to door, by the way. We didn't stand at Stop and Shop waiting for people to come in. And 2 people on our street said no one year. The first year I was doing it. So my mother said, sit down right now and write them a thank you note for even considering it. I think I spelled consider wrong, and I wish I still had that thank you note. But I sat there with my crayons, you know, the 96 colors.
Ah, yes.
This was my special box. And I got the construction paper out and I wrote, thank you for considering purchasing cookies or buying cookies. I don't think I used purchasing. And then I brought the letter back to their house. One person never called, but the other called and got 6 boxes. I think they were in a cranky mood that day. So the day that they said no. So I learned to say thank you. And I think gratitude is a real big driver. But then as I grew older and started, contributing through high school, working for, volunteering for many nonprofits. It's really when I got to Tufts and my dad was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer and given 1 year to live. So that was a real emotional time of my life. Well, my dad, after his surgery, 3 different doctors diagnosed him. 2 said, pack your suitcase, pack up, get your stuff in order. The other one said, you're not going anywhere, even though he thought he was not going to make it. He gave him hope. My dad had promised to go to Haiti, and here he was, born skinny. My dad had promised to go to Haiti, and here he was, bone skinny. Went down on an observation trip, set up and pulled teeth. He's an orthodontist by trade, but a dentist, for a week. And there are no accidents. He had set up outside of Mother Teresa's home for the dying. And at the end of the week, the sisters asked him, would he come back every 3 months because they had no one to do this? Well, my dad didn't say, I've been diagnosed. I only have a year to live. My dad said, sure, I'll come back. Well, 1 year became 3 years, became 5 years. My dad is turning 90.
I know. Isn't that amazing? I'm not going to say how long back you were in college ago, but the sun still rose in the east back.
It did. So it was a long time ago. But here's the kicker with this. My first trip to Haiti, I wasn't going down with that spirit of going down. It was like, oh, I'm going to Haiti. I'll see this. As soon as I got off the plane, I was overwhelmed. This was a long time ago. God, it was 40 years ago. So I just outed my age. It's okay. Age is a privilege denied to many. That's my mantra. So here's the thing. I get off the plane and I'm being touched a lot. My hair's being touched, my skin as I'm coming out of the airport, the little tiny airport at the time. And my dad sees me kind of recoil and he turned to me real tough and said, if you think you're any better than those people, get back on the plane. Hold those children's hands. These are God's kids. So I'm holding hands, I'm loving the kids, I got right into it, and I fell in love with Haiti. I fell in love with assisting my dad medically. From this, too long of a story, he built a multi-million-dollar clinic. To this day, is still taking care of 500 people a day, staffed with Haitian doctors and nurses. And we run it from Connecticut. So I really, really feel like Haiti changed me. One, it is an accident of birth. Now, I didn't expect you to ask this, so I'm kind of going off on my little soapbox. But it really is an accident of birth that we were born in this country and that we were born into fortunate situations. And that is what I try to impress to audiences and to my students, recognizing that maybe some of them haven't. But you can always change your circumstance. And the second beyond that is it is an opportunity versus an obligation to give. So what can you give? There's the adage, time, talent, treasure. But think in your heart, what can you give at this point of your life? I had no money back then, but I had energy. So that was what I could give. Now, you can give money, you can give energy, you can give time. It just changes who you are as a person, and Haiti changed my life. I have never shared that story before about,
Really?
Coming off the airplane. Yeah, you got that out of me. You always get things out of me, you do. And by the way, your audience has to know I'm not flirting. I am not flirting. I am so
You're
impressed
a
with
happily married woman with married children.
Yes. And your wife is one of my favorite people in the whole world and a remarkable speaker, trainer, and person. So I'm not flirting. I admire you as a person. Did I just say I'm not flirting 3 times? Thou protest too much. I think I am flirting a little.
Protest too much. One of the items we talk about a lot on this program is leadership inside of organizations. And what we really haven't talked about is, as leaders, how do we give to the broader community as opposed to just giving within our employee network, would say? Is there a method that you've seen or organizations you've seen that have done that really well?
Well, I'm going to go back to the Newport Restaurant Group days, if I could. First
Sure,
of all,
please.
I worked for Newport Restaurant Group for over 30 years, from all through the iterations when we were Newport Yachting Center, Newport Waterfront Events, Newport Harbor Corporations, then Newport Restaurant Group. And one of the things I was charged with, and you can't talk to a 25-year-old at this point anymore, you can't talk like this, but my boss at the time, who's still a very good friend, said, you've got 9 months to prove yourself or you don't have a job. And I thought to myself, good, I'm going to prove myself. I am going to turn this department around, and then I'm going to leave and go somewhere else because I'm not going to be talked to like that. Well, I didn't leave, and he's still my really good friend, but I loved how Newport, it was Harbor Corporation and Waterfront Events at the time, gave us a canvas on the water and let us build a business there, but also embroider nonprofits. There was never, as long as it wasn't hurting us at the beginning, we didn't have the money to be giving a lot to nonprofits. We gave a lot, but not the millions that are given now. And I was able to use the canvas of events, the concerts, the festivals, to give space to nonprofits to make their own money. And some of them, if they had food and beverage, they made a lot of money. If they had, that's before we took food and beverage over. And then we had my nun friend, Sister T, who, my best friend and 8th grade teacher. She'd come in with her different organizations she was working for and set up silent auctions and raffles. And who's going to say no to a nun? Believe it or not, though, they do. They do. So I do love that I had the opportunity again to champion nonprofits through the events. But then the next thing is getting involved on boards, as you do. Joining boards, and my first board was leukemia when I was 24 years old. I loved being on the Leukemia Society board. Now I'm on too many boards, but I will say I just got rolled off the Martin Luther King Center board, one of my favorites because of term limits, and I'm on a committee. That's more work. A committee's more work than the board. I'm teasing. They know I love them so much. And then I love, one of the other ones is Newport Hospital Board, because I feel smarter every time I leave a meeting. I love anything medical.
Well, pretty soon they'll put you in scrubs. You can go do surgery.
Yes. Where's my scrubs in Haiti? And then it's cute because I'll be working with the dentist and a little girl will come over, a little boy, and they'll say, La petite doctor, la petite doctor. They want me, and they're like, no, 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 you don't want her, and you don't. That's for sure.
So organizations, what I hear you describing through the Newport Restaurant Group and affiliate is that organizations that give back to the community are actually helping themselves grow at the same time. Would you agree with that?
Yes, but you know what I loved about, I'm going to go back to Newport Restaurant Group again, and other organizations I've worked with. Wonderful. I'm not going to start naming sponsors because then you forget, you omit one. But organizations give without worrying about the gain. They're giving again from their heart, and they're not doing it for a halo effect. Yes, you get a halo effect, but I remember with Newport Restaurants Group, we kind of kept it on the down low because there were only so many we could have in. And I believe that when we work with nonprofits, it enhances us who we are. It enhances our teams, especially we can do volunteer hours. There are so many organizations that welcome this. And I honestly wish I could just divide myself into 10, maybe 100, and help all of them. Because I just found out 2 weeks ago that Newport has more nonprofits than the whole state of Rhode Island. Did you know this?
No,
and I haven't vetted it yet, but it was from a very good source.
You
Did I answer the question?
No, close enough. But here's what you said that I really gleaned on, right? It's not just the company that gives to the nonprofit. It's the fact that they involve their employees that makes for more cohesive teams and a better working environment and a more satisfying one is what I took away from that answer.
Okay. I'm going to bring you on the road as my spokesperson. I'll talk, you translate. My poor husband, he has to translate all the time.
Yeah, you're Moses, I'm Aaron. Okay.
Well, you know when your mind sometimes is working faster than you're just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just.
I do, Gail. That hamster in your mind never stops running on the wheel.
Yours either. So there you go. What is it? The pot calling the kettle?
Yes, that's true. That's true. You hosted a radio broadcast for quite a while called Leadership at All Levels. Is it different between each level that you have a leader? Is you have to have a leadership at one level with a different type at a third level? Or can the leadership lessons you talk about apply all the way through?
I have learned some of my best leadership lessons from students, from interns. And I have learned some of my best leadership, what not to do, from seasoned executives who I like to say it this way, are on stage and off stage. So on stage, they may be like this, and then off stage, they're not the same person. And I've had those experiences in my life. But I think the students sometimes are too young to know about on stage or off stage, and you get what you get. So again, I am a champion of this younger generation. And leadership, I think, transcends age. So if I can rescind that a little bit, leadership transcends, who are you as a person? And are you perfect all the time? No, you're not. But the biggest thing I learned, and it was, no, I'm not. The biggest thing I learned.
For the audio people, I'm sitting there pointing at you going, you are, sorry.
No, is what I've learned from the leaders that I emulate, what that I'd like to emulate and that I admire so much. And these are leaders I've really met, not the pie in the sky Nelson Mandela leader. This is more leaders that I've met in person, is push-pull. Do you know push-pull?
Well, there's a lot of ways to use it. So why don't you tell me what you're thinking?
The way I use it is someone who comes in and they are a leader and they push themselves and I just became a leader and you're going to listen to me, like push leadership towards the quiet pull leadership. And there's even people like here at University of Rhode Island, here at in my former jobs, that I was pulled towards, even though they were not my boss. And I'd say, let's go have a cup of coffee. To the point one of them was a quarterly coffee. And then I've had some interesting bosses, but I love the lessons I learned from them, which are reflected, not to give it a plug, but in leadership at all levels. Because I look at this, well, I'm sorry, wait, this is your someday is now. Leadership at all levels is the topic, is one of the chapters.
Let's talk about your book. You are the author of Your Someday Is Now. This, I think, is in a different publishing. And one of the most amazing things about this book is to be true to yourself. 100% of every dollar for every book sold is given to nonprofits. And just amazing. Bring your book back up so the audience can see it again.
And the only way to get it. Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say Leadership at All Levels is only one of the chapters.
Yes. And the only way to get the book is through my website, gailspeaks.com. because it's all the money goes to charity, and if I put it on Amazon, they keep a big percentage. But I'm working on my second book. You and I actually have to discuss that. I need my accountability coach. Sorry, I'm imposing. And here's the thing with that one. It will go on Amazon because selling books out of the basement gets old, and my husband's kind of done with it. So the new one will go on Amazon, and we can still give the money away. It'll just be a little different. So the whole thing with the book is I wrote it as a gift for our son Samuel, and who just turned 30. I always say he's 25. I have to tell the truth now.
Yes,
I guess I have to tell the truth.
You now said you're 40 years out of school.
I know. You're getting the truth. Is there like a serum that comes through the waves or something?
Yes, there is. It's the bright lights.
I wrote it for Sam, realizing I probably wouldn't have him in my classroom. I'd never have him in the classroom, and I was going to print off one copy. But as I started showing the manuscript, people are like, you should just work with Aviva Publishing, publish this, and you'll be able to give the money away to nonprofits if you want to. I never thought it would reach 55,000. And a lot are corporate buys. Corporations will buy 10, 50, 100 at a time, which is really nice.
It is really, it's very satisfying too. I've seen you talk out of it. So when you're on stage, what is one of your primary topics that you talk about?
Oh my goodness. My number one bestseller is The Power of Positivity. Get to versus have to. Get to versus have to. And you're going to love this, because a big thing about, there's two things with positivity. One is wearing the bracelet. I'm on 11 days of no complaining, no gossip, no negativity. You have to go 21 days. 21 days. This is one of the things Sister T taught us. Well, Sister T, again, it took her 3 years to go 21 days. This is the longest I've ever been on it. So I think that's one thing, is like a reminder to stay positive and don't feed into gossip. Because as my son, Sam, always says, do you want to be that person? Do you want to be that person? Who wants to be that person how did you hear about that? Oh, Gail Alofson. No, you don't want to. So I'd say that. And then my other mantra, as far as, is eat a frog for breakfast, which is a time management course. And I carry frogs everywhere. I give frogs to people. Where are they? Here's my little bag right now. I haven't even opened it yet. This is how many frogs I have. I buy them 500 at a time, and I carry them in my bag. So if you meet me on an airplane and we start talking about eating frogs or anything else, or you're at one of my seminars, you're leaving with a frog. And that means do your hardest task first. Whether your first is 8 in the morning, 10 in the morning, or 1, just pick a time you're really going to eat the frog. So in a traditional day, you don't want to be eating the frog at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. You want to eat it early. Difficult conversation. For me, it's starting a budget. That would be like your happiest thing, like starting the spreadsheet. So I think I went off on a Gail tangent again. Sorry about that. Okay. They're very famous, these Gail tangents.
We're going to come back around here. Let me ask you another question. One of the leadership tools or activities that you do, I admire, is you have 10 by 10. 10 contacts by 10 in the morning every day.
How do you know that?
I do my research, dear.
Okay.
And so I think that's so impressive. And maybe you can talk just for a minute about why you choose to do that and what the benefit of being a leader is in doing it.
Okay. 10 by 10 is, I think it's my own system. I don't think that I took this from anyone else. I'll have to research it and see if I did. But it's 10 touch points by 10 in the morning. I've been doing this since my first job out of college, but it was, at that point, it was like 10 touch points a week. It wasn't 10 touch points. It's when I got into the hotel business that our director would make me make 100 phone calls. Like, we'd have to get on. And then I thought, this is a little fruitless. As I started evolving, I'm like, I think I should do 10 touch points. And a touch point can be commenting on a LinkedIn post, but not just liking it. Commenting and not just congratulations. Think of something that you want to say. It can be making Swiss cheese out of newspaper, which I don't see people do it anymore. And I get so excited when they do it for me. And that means they cut an article out and they mail it. So that's like, and they mail it. So you might be like, well, I mean, doesn't everyone still like to get something in the mail? So
sure
putting
do.
out an article, mailing it that person, saying this was a great article, or congratulations on this award, or congratulations on whatever. That's a touch point. Sending an email, even if you want to time them, So I don't time my emails a lot, but I was thinking that's a really good way to also make a touch point. Sending maybe an article by email, just different, having a virtual coffee. So 10 touch points by 10 a.m., making a phone call.
That is such an impressive, and it takes a serious level of discipline to do, because just like you have your bracelet takes one level of discipline, this is very different, and I think leaders could benefit by this. If you had said, well, wait a second, didn't you just say you have to eat your frog, do the most important thing first? Would you say getting in touch with 10 people is the most important thing quite often?
And well, yes. And here's another thing you can do. Like where I worked out for the past 25 years is the Marriott Gym. I love it, Newport Marriott Gym. And I'll escalate the touch points by one of the things that keeps me really happy on the bracelet is when I see all the people who have worked the night shift or they're just starting really, really early because I get there early. And they started with always saying a kind word to me. So I'm like, why are you saying a kind word to me? You've been up all night. I didn't say that to them. But I'm like, what is in the water at Marriott Corporation? And yes, I will give them a shout out because I love that corporation and that particular hotel. But there's even I will call one person out, Flora, who's mopping the floors every morning. And maybe I'm a touch point for her, but today she's talking to me all about how her Easter was and her daughters came home and she's got such enthusiasm. That's one of Flora's touch points. I watch her all day, engaging, stopping. If she's vacuuming, she stops vacuuming when people go by. You talk about leadership at all levels. Flora is an innate leader. She just stops. So those could be considered touch points, easier touch points from people who are like, well, I'm not going to leave a LinkedIn comment. Can you say 4 nice things in the morning? Can you thank the barista who this might be their third job? They may be working 24/7. Can you thank them for your cup of coffee that you're buying so haphazardly for $5, $6, $12, whatever it is? I think some of the places in Newport are up to 15. So 15 for a cup of coffee. So
I don't know what you put in your coffee.
No, I'm decaf girl. You know that. I'm 100%
This is you on
decaf.
decaf. You have the most kinetic energy of anybody I know. This is Gail Alofson on decaf.
No, but that's the whole thing. So I think touch points can be business touch points, but then personal touch points. What can you do that morning to say something nice, or when you're at the airport? I'm sure we're all thanking TSA agents for being there. I think saying thank you more, making it a point to say thank you, because it just makes you feel better. So maybe it's selfish, but it's a good kind. I think it's a good kind of selfish if it is.
I love it. I think it's great for leaders to do and be aware of their surroundings that way. You're describing push versus pull. I always said you can't push a string. So you have to be in that position to be able to give a little bit back. And sometimes it's just thank you. Well, Gail, I have one last question for you today.
Is our time up already?
Oh my gosh. Who is your favorite fictional character?
Okay, you know who it is. Who would you guess it was? It's a television show, and it's a man, and he's very enthusiastic.
Okay, it's a television show. It's a man, and he's very enthusiastic. It's a fictional show.
Yes, and he's extraordinarily positive.
Kramer.
And he's involved in sport. He's involved in a particular sport.
I don't know.
Ted Lasso. I love him.
Hey, I did know that. You're right. Ted Lasso.
I love him. I love everything.
Why is it? And why is he
I love his vulnerability. I love that when he's heartbroken, we know it. I love that he's kind to a fault. And just that I think he's a very authentic leader, slow to anger, stops to understand. I just love everything about Ted Lasso. I'm going to actually watch the season again. And the last season, now you're going to get one other thing out that I've never told anyone. Only my husband knows this. When it was the very last season of Ted Lasso, I was folding laundry because we kept rewinding the very last scene, which was about 8 minutes. We just kept rewinding. I'm like, rewind it again. And I just then started throwing socks at the television that they weren't going to do another season. They said they weren't going to do another one. I know that sounds a little manic, actually, but I was just like, oh, I'm so mad.
I think you got to express your anger in different ways.
I express my anger through socks. But the whole thing is, when you're disappointed something's going to end, and I just felt so good about that whole show and the way they wrap it up at the end. So that's my guy is Ted Lasso. And if I ever meet him in real life and he doesn't act like that, I'm going to have a knife in my heart.
I'll throw some socks at him.
I'm going to throw some socks. This has been wonderful. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, Gail. It's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us today. Friends, resilient leaders face challenging currents, and it's tough navigating. But with one tack or another, we can get there together. If you enjoyed today's podcast and great guests like Gail, please subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Have them click in. You can find us on LinkedIn, YouTube. For audio, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your media. It was so great to be with you this week. I'll see you again soon. Be well.